This is PC747 with the neXup.net. A couple of years ago, when I first got playing around with YouTube, I was playing around just talking about tech, not just with smartphones, but in general. Because, we use tech in a lot of avenues. Air travel, it's pretty much everything. You could say pretty much our entire life now, in some way or form, is wrapped around tech. And I enjoy talking about it. For the most part, I spend a lot of time trying to help people as far as, getting them acclimated with what they have to use as far as their day-to-day, whether it be smartphones, computers, whatever. As not everyone is really a tech head, and some people just need, just an extra assistant to help them get around it. And yeah, this pretty much was why I started my initial blog and, and got into tech in general as far as helping people, was because I wanted to have the platform to be able to help people. But not only am I trying to just do that, I still like to really talk about just tech in general as far as just everything and how it continues to change and evolve and, yeah, in ways that it affects us in general. And so I'm going to go over a couple of things in regard to that and, yeah, just have like a pretty much discussion about three things this week that really stood out as far as what I want to focus on and where we going as far as where technology is going, where the economy is going. And I want to kick that off with the first topic, and that's talking about the Airbus 380. So, those of you who have been around aviation, I'm a big aviation fan. I just love airplanes in general. The 747 was the aircraft, I always dreamed about flying. And, the big thing that, continues to stay in my memory is when the 747, I got a chance to see the last space shuttle, piggybacked on it. That's one of the blessings I had being at Fort Campbell with my parents being in the military. I was able to kind of see, 747 with the space shuttle parked out, and for us to take pictures of and look at it. And that has really stood in my memory for a while. And yeah, it's partly why I'm gravitating away to aviation. Even though I don't talk about it that much on my channel or in my blog, that is pretty much a passion for me. So yeah, the 747 forever remains something as far as aircraft that I've been fascinated with. Air Force One is probably one of the most famous 747 that continues to fly today. And, talking about this, the Airbus 380, Airbus in general, we're looking at a way to, come up with an aircraft that was an answer to the Airbus 380. And back in 2007, when they introduced it, the argument up to that point was, where would aviation want to go? We've seen the fuel issues force airlines into rethinking their air travel, going for more fuel-efficient ways to fly the aircraft. American Airlines in general moved to finding ways to get rid of everything as simple as magazines, having their crew go from carrying all these books to a pretty much a tablet, all in a way to save in weight to make the aircraft less heavy to help in fuel. So airlines had to answer the question, where we go next. And manufacturers pretty much had to do that. Where are we going to go next in aviation? And two companies, Boeing and Airbus, had two different answers. Boeing went with the mindset of, let's make this aircraft lighter. Let's go with composites. Make it a pretty much all composite aircraft. Make it pretty much fuel efficient because it's lighter, and let's see where we go with that. And Airbus, they took the approach of making the aircraft bigger. So you have the Airbus 380, which was a large aircraft, larger than the 747. In fact, you can say the largest aircraft pretty much as far as passenger airlines ever built, flown in general, to this date. I mean, we talking about an aircraft that, I mean, carries up to, I want to say about 400 people, depending on how you configure it. And just the fee alone to build the aircraft, to engineer it, was amazing. And the fact that they found a way to do that and get it out, I mean, kudos to them. But the problem was, even though you had this large aircraft, there weren't a lot of airports that can support it. And it didn't really quite answer the question of how we handle fuel efficiency. I mean, their approach was just shove more people on the airplane. So if you have an aircraft that, again, can hold, like I said, 3, 4, I mean, depending, again, how it's configured, some people found a way to configure up to 500, 600, 700 passengers on the aircraft. If you were able to have one aircraft fly that many people, that means, in general, that's one less aircraft you got to fly. So that was their thought process, to have a large aircraft fly so that there's less airplanes flying in the air. But again, they never was able to get around the fact that, airports couldn't support it. You couldn't just fly this to any airport. Only certain airports can support it. And as far as international goes, you had to have an airline that regularly fly those many people. And it really challenged, how many routes you can fly with that. If you have an aircraft that is designed to hold that many people, then you're going to hold that aircraft for routes that is going to fill it up. You have aircraft that big, you're just not going to want to, fly half the load or a quarter load. You want as many people in that airplane as possible, and that's pretty much how airliners make their money. The more people in the seats, the more money they make. So if you find an aircraft that's pretty much empty, that's pretty much a loss for them. And pretty much there weren't a lot of orders for that aircraft. In fact, a lot of the customers went to Airbus and said, well, we see what you did with the Airbus 380, and that's nice and all, but we really like what Boeing did with the 787, so, we're going to go that route. And if you can come up with something that's competing, you can give us a aircraft that fully composite, that's lighter, that's going to be fuel efficient, a lot less passengers, that can go to more airports and it can be supported at more locations, then we'll give you a call. But until then, we'll just wait for the 787 or look for other weight means. And, well, that's what Airbus ended up having to do. They ended up reshifting their focus, going with the Airbus 350, which was pretty much an all-composite aircraft, and passengers love it. It's a great competitor to the Boeing 787, and as a result, Airbus realized the economy and air travel in general was mainly focused on fuel efficiency. That's the way of the future right there. Make sure we can get more people, not really so much more people, able to go ahead and fly these aircraft and save as far as fuel, because we know it was a matter of time before the fuel prices continue to spike back up. And as airlines have to keep that in mind and keep that in the back of their plans of what to do. They're not wanting an aircraft that's big. So I'm not surprised that they retired the Airbus 380. In a way, I'm kind of surprised it happened this soon. But, I mean, there weren't a lot of orders for it. It was just too big of an aircraft. So that's where we're going to go with that. And I'm kind of curious for those out there who follow aviation. What are your thoughts on the Airbus 380? Is this something that you're surprised that was retired? Should Airbus have ever built the aircraft in general? Do you fault them for this? Again, it's if you step back and you just look at the aircraft in general, it's a marvel. It's amazing that, again, that we was not only able to build it, but was able to fly something this big. It was engineered, to the way it was, and they obviously used a lot of the technology that they learned from that, and it probably translated some of that into the newer aircraft and some aircraft that are going to go forward. But for now, it looks like it's going to be a wash. that's pretty much going to be it as far as that aircraft is going. And yeah, I'm kind of curious to see if there will be any customers in the future. If freight companies may want to pick up on a couple of these aircraft to see if they can utilize this to their advantage. So, yep. Let's go on to another topic. Next week, Samsung is going to unveil their Galaxy S10. This is more of a phone that, but if you think about it, it's almost 10 years in the making for Samsung as far as when it comes to Android phones. And it's going to be amazing to see, what they do with this aircraft. But this phone. And we've already got a chance to see a lot of the leaks. We pretty much have an idea what to expect. I don't think we're going to see anything that surprises us too much, other than unless we actually get to see this folding phone that have been in a couple of their commercials. But as far as the phone in general, they're going to have 3 models, and it looked like they wanted to kind of mirror what Apple did, something that, in a way, I'm kind of surprised that they did, but in a way, I'm not, because this is almost Samsung's MO to pretty much combat whatever Apple do. They want to make sure they have an answer for it. And they're going to do that with 3 phones. One is going to be the cheaper model, a mid model, or the standard model, or in the max model. The cheaper model is, again, a way to compete with the iPhone XR, provide a phone that, for those that may not want to spend, near $8,000 to $9,000 for a smartphone, this is going to be for them. Obviously, it's going to not have some of the same features as your S10 and your S10 Max. That's what I'm going to call it. Or, so one of the things that in general they are going to have in both the S10 and, the larger S10 will be an under-glass fingerprint scanner. Something that, we've been waiting for years for Samsung to unveil. It's like we were expecting them to be one of the first companies to do this as far as an American market, and we were surprised that they didn't. OnePlus ended up beating them to it last year, and there may be a good reason for them waiting. And I kind of want to see it in action, see if maybe they perfected something that OnePlus couldn't, and kind of get an idea to see how it stacks up. But yes, for those who've been waiting for under glass fingerprint scanner for the Galaxy, you're finally going to get it with the S10, and it's going to make a lot of people happy for this. We're going to see a couple more cameras, 2 on the front. This is for the standard model and the max model. 2 on the front, 3 on the rear. They're also going to have another feature that I actually like, which is the reverse wireless charging method. And basically, you can use your phone to wirelessly charge either another phone or what's likely going to be featured in their press release is using your phone to charge up their earbuds that will likely be featured when it comes to their presentation. And then we go back to the cheaper model, again, designed to combat the iPhone XR. This is pretty much going to be, instead of having an under-glass fingerprint scanner, their fingerprint scanner is going to be on a power button. Not really a bad move. If I had to say, I actually think that is actually a good place for it. Other than under the glass, the other place that you touch the most is the power button. So, to have that there, it's not really a bad idea. And this phone is going to come in a couple of different colors, again, to kind of combat what Apple did with iPhone XR the last fall, making this a phone that came in several different colors. So I look forward to seeing the presentation next week. Once we get a chance to dig into the presentation, see what's going on. I'll obviously come back and have my full thoughts on, the Samsung Galaxy S10 line of phones that's coming out this year. But until then, I'm kind of going to hold off till next week and not really go too deep into it. And my last topic discussion will be Mobile World Congress, which will be next week. And, that's not really going to be, not next week, correction. That's actually going to be on February 25th to the 28th. And I'm kind of expecting when we get to Mobile World Congress, the main topic to be focused on 5G again, kind of expecting not just carriers, but yeah, other companies talking about a lot of the advantages they're expecting from 5G and the capabilities they're expecting, how soon they're expecting to have as far as more rollouts in the cities. Yeah, just ways to kind of continue to hype the industry up to get to where they're expecting to be the next evolution in wireless technology. And World World Congress will be in Barcelona starting on February 25th, and it will go to the 28th. They also expect a couple of phone carriers to release some phones, particularly LG, as they're going to be looking to combat the Galaxy line. As for with their G8, they're going to have a phone pretty much with a glass that vibrates to kind of have that speaker sound from there. It could create more of a boombox feel. It's going to be interesting to, see what they're able to do with their phone and see, how well they're going to be able to stack up against the S10. As, reality when it comes to the spring, Samsung is the big dog, and they're the phone company to beat, especially in the Android line. And, yeah, LG every year try to find a way to compete with them. And it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to find a niche for them that are able to attract customers from the Galaxy line to their line of phones. It's going to be a tough challenge, especially, again, with more companies coming on the line with the companies like Google, bringing their own Pixel line. You got Motorola still out there. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where we go there. So that pretty much wrap up today's talk as far as tech. This is PC747 with the neXup.net. I'm out.